Hello and welcome back to another episode of Flow with the Grow. If this is your first time tuning in, I appreciate you. Thank you for your ears and listening. In today's episode, I interview Shaley. She is the co-owner of Daily Clean Food and Drink in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Just a heads up, as you listen, we were in Daily, and so there was a little bit of background noise as we were having the conversation with the employees working and then people coming in and out and whatnot. So just a heads up there. Super excited for you to listen. Today I talked to her about her story with Daily and kind of more about what she does on the side. I talked to her about entrepreneurship a little bit and owning a business and kind of what that all entails. I have been going to Daily ever since like day one of them opening. I love that place so much, and I have had the best experience there with the employees, with the culture, with Shaley, and getting to know her and becoming friends with her. And it's just every time I walk in, just smiles on their face, and I always look forward to going. If you have not checked them out yet, I highly recommend it. In the show notes, I will link their website, their Instagram, and all of that. They have anywhere from salad bowls to smoothie bowls, oats, like oatmeal kind of, and then different other types of foods. And they have a drink menu, coffee drinks. They have a baked good case of different sweets, and I love it. Healthier alternatives and pretty unique. They have a lot of unique stuff, I would say. Different toasts. So if you're a toast fan, like avocado toast, oh my gosh, their stuff is amazing. My go-tos are always Daily Detox with vanilla protein. Their banana bread protein bar is amazing. They have a new pumpkin bar that's amazing. Actually, everything in their baked goods case is amazing. I love getting their Nourish Bowl. I always get it with greens and eggs. And oh my gosh, their acai bowls. I could go on and on. Their stuff is just so good, but those are the main ones. And I always get, they have protein balls. And don't even get me started on their pizzas. So amazing. Their coffee is amazing. So basically, you need to go. If you need any recommendations, feel free to ask. I will point you in the direction of some really good stuff, but I'm sure everything on their menu is just amazing. I haven't tried everything yet, but just a welcoming culture every time you walk in. If you have been there, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I know I've recommended it to a lot of people and highly recommend. It's a great place to go if you're just kind of wanting some coffee or some food after a workout. Meet up with some friends, work on things. Like I go there all the time to work on my podcast and different work stuff. If you watch the Food Network, the food channel, you can now catch them February 12th, I believe it is. They will be on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Drive-Ups, I think it's called. But yeah, so they were chosen to be on that show. I don't know, like last year, a few months ago. I'm not really sure when they aired or when they recorded it, but yeah, so that's pretty cool. If you go, let me know what you get, and if you go, let them know that you heard about them on Flow with the Grow podcast. That would be pretty cool. Take a screenshot of this episode, put it up on your Facebook or Instagram stories. On Instagram, I'm at Sophia_Dawn41. You could tag Shaley. You could tag Daily Clean Food and Drink. And again, I'll put those in the show notes. And that is enough of me talking. Let's get into the episode, and I will see you on the other side. Welcome to Flow with the Grow. I'm your host, Sophia, a health and fitness professional, positivity distributor, and a real-life human being with real-life challenges. Every Tuesday, you will hear my honest conversations on the day-to-day highs and lows that life teaches us, as well as bring you actionable tips that you can implement to improve your health and wellness journey. This podcast will empower you to flow with the inevitable setbacks of life. You will learn what it means to flow with the grow, see through a lens of optimism, and navigate your way to living your best life. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Now let's jump into your daily dose of positivity and growth. Hello, testing, hello. Well, first of all, thank you for saying yes to doing this and coming on my show.
Of course.
I've been wanting to have you on, so in the very beginning when I first had my podcast and I was brainstorming, different ideas, people wanted to interview topics, whatever. I was going through a list in my head of like people I wanted to bring on to talk to about, and you were like one top. I was like, yep, Daily Shaley, yes, doing that. So yeah.
Well, you're always here, so of course it would be the top of your list.
That's awesome. So tell us more about who you are, what you do, like with Daily and Form Fitness, and just all of that.
Well, currently I am co-owner of Daily Clean Food and Drink. I do everything here between managing and scheduling and cooking, and I put together the basically the whole menu here. And then as a side gig, as if this wasn't enough, I also teach fitness classes at Form Fitness right across the street from here. We're at 69th and Western in Sioux Falls, and then Form Fitness is just on the opposite corner. And I teach everything that they have to offer there too. So I've got every job they've got. I've got yoga teacher, bar, rowing, TRX, circuit, Pilates.
Wow.
I'm sure I'm missing some things in there.
Yeah.
Yoga sculpt, all the things.
Yeah.
So
what's your favorite to teach, or do you have a favorite?
currently, I think favorite is yoga sculpt, but that's because I can walk in and just go. And like I don't have to have a plan. It just happens organically as I'm in it. I love teaching yoga right now because it's new and there's just endless amounts of like sequencing and things, and it's so much more about like, you know, opening up the hips to get to a certain point and like how to work with the body. But it's also the hardest class I teach right now because I feel like yogis are like not judgmental at all, but like like they have a good like high expectations sometimes of like flows and you know having challenges brought to them and everything. And so I spend a lot of time like toiling over my yoga classes. So yeah.
Fun. So you stay busy.
Yes,
That's for sure.
definitely.
So, okay, so Daily, where did this idea come from? When did it start? Like, tell me more about that.
Well, before it was actually like a thought with the partners here, just a funny like backstory. I was dating a guy that like I was kind of a doormat for, and I did his college homework. And he was in business administration, doing business admin degree. And one of his projects was to like do a mock business and like name it and what would you do, how would you get it started and everything. And my dream, like at the time, because I had just lost 160 pounds from learning how to like cook and exercise and everything for myself.
Awesome.
And I was like, I would love to have a healthy food business. And so I did his homework based on this. Like, I called it at the time Control Alt Eat. So like Control Alt Delete on the computer.
Oh, yeah. That's
super punny. I'm a nerd, as you can tell by some of my names for my menu items on the menu. But so yeah, it was like Control Alternative Eating, Control Alt Eat. And yeah, he got an A+ on the project.
Oh my gosh.
So cut to a couple of years ago, I was teaching at Form, and my brother was working at Pomegranate Market, where my co-owner also owns. And he was looking for somebody to kind of mess with like a healthy frozen yogurt thing at Pomegranate. So I went over there, tried that, didn't really work. We just kind of cut it off and quit messing with it. And then a year later, he emailed me and was like, hey, I've got some ideas and I think you'd be a cool person to talk to about this. And so I ended up in the partnership with him after he was like, I want to do like a bread and kombucha and coffee shop. And I was like, oh my gosh, if you want to open up a shop and you want me involved in this, I've got so many ideas. I'm like, and it's way beyond coffee. Like, we need a place in town that like has, you know, bowls and, you know, salads and acai bowls and stuff, like, because we're so missing that. I mean, it's getting better over the last couple of years, but so it just morphed from this like idea for a coffee kombucha shop to like a little restaurant, and yeah, so it became Daily.
Yep. How did the name come about?
So that was a name that my co-owner, my partner, picked out before I even came into Daily. He had seen it at a little cafe out in Portland when they were traveling, and he really liked the idea of it being like Daily, as in like doing something good for yourself daily, like doing something positive daily.
Yeah.
So that name really stuck with him, and at that point, I was just so happy to be along for the ride that I was like, whatever you want to name it.
Like, I'm in, I'm game.
Yeah. Now that I'm so much more invested and it's so much like a part of me, like there's times where I think like there's, something else I might have like pushed for then, but I was just so excited for it. I was just like, whatever you want to call it. Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome. How long have you guys been open now? 2 years?
Just over 2 years.
Okay, yeah. Because I remember, so my sister lives like just, I don't know, a couple blocks down, but I remember one time driving by and seeing this like daily clean food and drink sign. I'm like, what is this? Like, I got so excited because you're right. Like, there wasn't at the time like anywhere where you could just go and get healthy, quality food, nourishing food, acai bowls, like anything like that, unless you go to like the cities or some other city. Mm-hmm. I think now there's kind of a little bit like other places too, but
it's growing.
It was needed, and I was so happy. And then I was super pumped when I came in, and the smoothies and the sweets, the bakery. Yeah, that's my favorite. Yeah. I get like I used to get one of everything when I came in.
I used to have at least one a day, especially the banana bread protein bars. I have to like pull back the reins.
It's my favorite. Have you come up with like all of the food items then? Like, is that all you? Any of your employees?
There was okay, it's kind of been like almost like a team effort in a way. So when we were planning daily, there were some like ideas thrown into the hat, and like some of them stuck, some of them didn't, and most of them were ones that like I kind of say all of 2018 I was just cooking. All of 2018 and playing with recipes and like, here's a recipe, here's an idea, and then I would take that recipe and go, I don't like this and this and this about it. I would morph it, I would change it into what I wanted it to be, and like taking loads of cheese and stuff out of recipes. Yeah. Not that cheese is bad. It's just kind of like cleaning it up just a little bit.
Yeah.
And so in that aspect, a lot of it was created by me initially. And then since we've been open, there's been employees who have been like, hey, this is something that I make at home. I really like this. Hey, I found this one recipe for a salad, but if we do this, this, and that, instead of, the way that this recipe is. So they're essentially doing the same thing that I was doing as we were starting daily. Just kind of like piecing together different like parts of different things that we like and creating like new salads and new soups and everything. So our offerings as far as like our rotational stuff has just grown tremendously because of employee input and everybody kind of working together to make fun stuff. So it's a cool kind of cooperative.
Yeah, and it's nice that you give them the freedom to, or like the freedom to be able to come to you, and like they're confident coming to you saying like, hey, I have this idea, for food. So that's really cool.
That's what I love about this is like not having your corporate person to go to and be like, we have an idea. It's like, nope. You're making a bacon double cheeseburger the way I tell you to make a bacon double cheeseburger.
Right, yeah. I feel like there's a really good culture like within Daily. Being here, customer service, of course, but like even Instagram and stuff, like how have you created this culture? Like what, did you have standards when you came in? Like how did that all come into play now?
I didn't know what to expect. I had no restaurant experience whatsoever, like none at all. I came from the legal field, so a total 180 in career choice. So I didn't really know, and honestly, when we finally had our opening date, it was like, crap, we need employees. Like we have a date, but we don't have anybody to work. Like we've done all of this work, and now we didn't realize that like we actually have to have people to like do the things. Yeah. So it was just kind of like a scramble to get people hired. And then it was like, we were just lost for the first year because it was like, what are we doing? How do we make a better process with this? So there was like that focus wasn't really there. But at the same time, like it just kind of happened organically. Like I have an expectation of like friendliness and like kindness and loving one another and being respectful of one another that I don't really think that exists in a lot of restaurants and in the industry that we're in. Like, there's kind of the stereotypical, like people coming in and out or be, there's just a different culture that I see, or at least that gets like portrayed of the stereotypical restaurant industry. And being somebody who is I was going to yoga teacher training at the time when we opened, so I was doubling up there, and like, just having those vibes and and then inviting the employees that I had here, like, hey, why don't you come to yoga? And like I got a whole bunch of employees into yoga. And then it just kind of like started where our core like people were going to yoga and, you know, meditating and, you know, working out together and like creating a healthy culture behind the scenes. And then it seems like every person that has like come into Daily ever since has noticed those vibes, has recognized that, and if they don't like that, they tend to just see themselves out in a way. But the people who love it, they stick, they come, they go to the yoga classes with everybody else. Like it's just like, yeah, some days I'm just blown away because I'm like, I just wanted to make sure we had people to work here, and now I've got friends.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I've got
awesome.
friends and people that are just like really actually genuinely good people.
That's awesome. So it's like you organically like grew the culture of it, but then I think just by who you are, you attract those kind of people, and then it's like, and then that like kind of builds. It seems like, so that's cool. Because I know that in other food places and bars, restaurants, there's a lot of drama, especially with like females and talking just like back and forth about each other. I never understood it. I was never involved with it, but yeah, so it's cool that you have that.
So that's why I didn't want to say that because I haven't been anywhere else, but that's the things that I hear. We don't have people out smoking in the back and like keep it clean.
Yeah, exactly. So being a business owner now, what has been a couple of the main challenges that you've had for yourself? I guess maybe a couple that stick out.
One that I'm learning more and more of every day is being assertive and being able to, you know, ask people to do things in like an assertive manner as a boss versus like I'm super passive aggressive. I don't like to put anybody out of their comfort zone. Like I want to be like somebody that embraces people and makes them feel comfortable, and I don't want anybody to ever be mad at me. And so becoming a boss and learning how to be like, well, if I don't stand up, if I don't say what I mean, it's just going to keep happening in the wrong way. And then I'm gonna be the one to blame for it in the end if, you know, everything goes wrong. So being able to learn how to be assertive and ask people to do things and learn a way to do that too that doesn't make me a terrible boss or a jerk, like a way that like they still respect me. So learning those fine lines is
I can totally relate because like being in my position, because I'm a manager, so I don't own, but I'm leading. I have to lead other trainers and leading a team, and that's one of the main challenges that I have faced is like I want to lead them and teach them and be a friend to them, but also I want them to like respect me too, you know. And sometimes it's hard to like keep that balance, and it's hard to like have that like assertiveness too, you know. But I've learned you can't be friends all the time with them. They can't like you all the time, I guess. But
I've found that with some of the girls here, like we're actually pretty close friends. But then when it comes down to like, I have to be like, you've got to do this. Like, I feel like I've hurt some feelings, and I'm just like, I always have to go back to that point and be like, we're friends off to the side, but when it comes to Daily, I have to be a boss, and you just have to like, you know, you have to compartmentalize those two things and put them in their own boxes.
Totally.
Otherwise, we can't be friends.
Yeah, exactly. Did you ever, so I know you mentioned that you were doing legal stuff before this, so you never even saw yourself being in this like space of being a business owner and in the food industry?
Well, in the food industry, no. So entrepreneurship like runs in my family.
Oh, okay.
So the legal business is a family business. So it was owned, my dad was the sole proprietor of it. But before coming into Daily, I was running that business. So I was kind of in the office, you know, pointing fingers and running all that. I actually started, so we did a process serving business. So I was 4 years old in a stroller with my mom when she served the first legal paper that we got when they took over that business. And it was really, really small. It was a couple little things here and there when they took it over from my grandpa's friend. And then it just grew. They grew it to this huge thing. It was pretty big for a while. So I was in it. Like at 12 years old, I was doing office work and I was doing that stuff for them. yeah, entrepreneurship just always been something for me. I've never wanted to, go work for anything corporate. And so when the opportunity for daily came up, I was like, the only way that I was going to leave my family business and leave that, and not take that over myself, was to have another option for me to be a business owner. And
Yeah. So what has been, in entrepreneurship, what's been your favorite couple of moments or favorite things about entrepreneurship?
Well, going back to the culture that we've created here, when that, I'm going to get teary-eyed just talking about it right now, when it was all of a sudden everything started coming together, and then I saw and I can be down there and watch everybody, the way they interact with each other and talk with each other, and they're like, oh my gosh, I want to come to this yoga class with me. Let's go to Crave and get vegan truffle fries. All of the love that everybody had, when that all kind of came together and you had that aha moment, this is what it's for. This is what I have been bleeding and crying and losing sleep over and everything. This is it right here. And you look at a dining room full of people that are happy and laughing and smiling, and the wonderful employees, and everything, those moments when everything goes right. It's yes, okay.
It's so rewarding, and it makes all the hard work and everything just so worth it.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
I have to keep thinking of that during the hard times.
Yeah, during the hard times. Yeah. What about setting boundaries with work and prioritizing you, and so that you don't get burnt out? I'm sure that's been a challenge.
Yeah, I'm still struggling with that. Yeah. And I think that I always will, because I am my father's daughter. If I sit down for 5 minutes, I'm like, well, I better get back up, better start going again. So this self-care and the boundaries are definitely something I'm working on, and that's something that I'm learning now also, that I can't do everything. I do need to delegate, and delegating has been another challenge for me that I'm learning to do a lot better, but there's still a lot of work to be done for me. Yeah. Maybe
a lot of
we always say
by
year 5.
Yeah. What was I going to ask? What's been your, I guess, maybe least favorite about entrepreneurship? Has it been kind of the challenges that we talked about, or anything else?
Yeah, man, there's been times, we had another partner, co-owner in with, and trying to figure out how to shoot down an idea without hurting any feelings, or working through somebody's ideas without with keeping the peace and everything. That's always been hard. And of course, just in general, staffing issues, I don't have a manager yet that takes care of that steps in when need be, and you're dead tired and all you want to do is go home and go to bed and rest and have that time for yourself. And no, you've got to stick in, and you've got to get your hands in the dishes and hang in there with them. And least favorite, yes, it's teaching me though too that it's not always easy, and this is what it's about. If you want to be a business owner, you have to be willing to make some sacrifices.
Yep, totally. What would be a typical day for you?
Ooh, well, it's anything I'm sure it's typical.
Yeah, different every day, I'm sure. Yeah,
it is. I teach a lot of morning classes over at Form, so I'll get up and go teach those classes, and then my way over here. And depending on how busy it is or what's going on over here, I either hop in and help them in the kitchen or up front, or I'm doing office work. I'm scheduling and ordering things and and organizing, and especially right now, getting prepared for some big stuff coming. There's a lot of back end work to do, and then some nights I have classes where I teach in the afternoon. Midweek I have my nephew. Sometimes I sub classes. Sometimes I'm covering shifts here. It's just from morning till the time my head hits the pillow, there's something that I'm working on. There's something that I'm doing, and it's either has something to do with daily or Forum or family.
What is there any plan, future plans for daily? I don't know, expanding or just that you can tell us?
Well, no, not yet. Okay. I've get a lot of emails asking about franchising, and I would love to. That's something. So by the time this is on, I could say the stuff about the Triple D. So we were on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, and Guy Fieri told us we were the future of food, and
Wow.
that we're a huge step above a lot of the country, and then way ahead of the Midwest on like
Wow.
as we sit. So, which is true. Like, I mean, even like we're starting to get things now, like we said, in town, and it's starting to get more accepted, and people are starting to get a little less scared of the word clean or healthy.
Yeah.
Knowing that there's more options out there now other than tofu and kale. So that made me feel like I was in the right place at the right time. But he said within 5 years, I think you guys will be ready and be able to be franchising. You just have to learn, what do you outsource? What can you find commissary kitchen to help you guys with the prep, because we're making so much stuff from scratch.
Yep.
So that's kind of like my goal is like at 5 years to be ready for that and have like these processes like so set in stone. Because like even at just over 2 years right now, we are like light years beyond where we started. Like our processes, our organization, like the way that we do things. And so if 2 years can do that, I think when we hit that 5 year mark,
For sure.
yeah,
That's exciting.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So I know, and you said making things from scratch. So then it reminded me of one time you made a donut.
Yes.
Where are those donuts?
I know, right? I know.
I'm still waiting
Should have
for
never
those.
posted those. I know. That's the hard thing is I've got so many ideas,
Yeah.
and there's only so much like menu space,
Right.
and there's only
Yes,
so
yes,
much bakery
yes.
space. Like that's one thing that I would do if we can. It would be to grow that bakery case, because those things in there are so popular.
Yeah.
It's just it's hard to keep up with all
Yeah.
of that too, with us making everything in house. So yeah,
I think it's been really nice having like the option of healthier sweets.
Yeah.
'Cause people struggle with the sweets.
Oh yeah,
The sugar.
yeah. I'm not a huge sugar person. I'm definitely like a peanut butter and chocolate person, which brings to the banana bread protein
Yep.
bar.
Yep.
But yeah, I hate to make this reference, but like if I could be like the Looks marketplace of healthy food, where like you come in and you've got your healthy bakery, and then you've got like your healthy deli or whatever,
Yep.
and then like the bowls and the pizzas. Like I wish I could have like just a whole marketplace of all of the
Everything.
ideas and things that I want to do. Yeah.
Nice. Your favorite food item? Do you
the
have a
menu?
favorite food item? Or, I don't know, drink? I guess maybe like a favorite drink, maybe a favorite food item.
So I always eat soup, like almost every day. A couple of the employees will like laugh when I go back into the kitchen. They're like, soup time, soup time. That's what I eat.
Nice.
And then I take I love spicy, which like case in point with chimichurri. So there's a few menu items out there that you can like totally draw exactly to like my specific taste. I'll take a big old scoop of jalapenos and put it on the soup, no matter what soup it is. And I'll be sitting over here just like choking on the
Oh my
spice
gosh.
with my nose running as I'm like eating my soup, because I just love it spicy. I'm always cold, so I'm just gonna like warm myself up with capsaicin from the inside out.
I am the complete opposite. I do not like spicy, and if something is a little bit spicy to someone, it's a lot spicy to me. Like I just can't handle it.
So have you ever had our guac when it's like gotten a little
Yes.
spicy? Yeah.
Yes. I'm like, oh, that's
Or you hit
super
a
spicy.
chunk of cayenne.
Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't really taste that spicy, but I think sometimes if it doesn't get mixed
Yeah,
out well,
sometimes
like
it's
you
super
can
spicy.
get a little,
Sometimes not. But is there a few that are like your most popular items?
Yeah, our butternut Buddha bowl is the top seller.
Oh, okay.
To me, I feel like it's like just the name, like Buddha bowl. Makes
Oh, totally.
People feel like they're eating something at like in a big city or something.
Yeah.
So that's a top seller. Our bison burger is a huge seller. I mean,
I've yet to try that.
South Dakota, like
Yep.
you can't go wrong with something bison. Our meatballs are huge. Not physically huge, but
Yeah.
they're pretty big meatballs. There's only 3 on a bowl. But one of the things we cooked on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives was the mightiest mac with the meatballs and the chimichurri and the mac and cheese. And that was kind of like a Franken food that came out of what we already had on our menu. And like a couple of the employees were eating that for lunch. And when they were coming up, we were like, let's do that. That's like a specialty thing that's like kind of unique. And so we're like, and we're putting it on the menu. And it's really popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know that they were coming? Like, did they call you up or did they just walk in?
So they called and somebody called asking if they could film here or whatever. Well, we've got a lot of people that will come here and do photo shoots. Shaleys does a bunch of photo shoots here for their stuff. We've got a lot of other people just do them just because of the lighting and like the architecture in here. It makes for really good photo shoots. So that's happened. We've also had Teen Mom come in and film here for MTV too. So I was just like, oh, it must be either MTV or another Shaleys photo shoot, and they just want to make sure that it's okay. So I called them back, and they were asking me all these questions, and I was like, who the heck? Like, what questions are they asking? Like, why are they asking me these questions? And then she was like, okay, well, you passed the preliminary round of questions, so I can tell you who I am and where I'm calling from. And she's like, I am from the Food Network and blah, 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 blah. And the second I heard Food Network, I was just like, way back when I was doing that homework for that jerk, I was thinking, how cool would it be to have a restaurant? And how cool if I had a restaurant would it be to be on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives? And I was just thinking too about Daily, like if we're ever on that show, it's going to be years, because it's going to be forever until we like get it straight and get it right to be able to be on that show. And I was like, please be Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Please be Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. And she's like, and it's for Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Have you heard of it? And I was like,
like trying to like hold in your excitement.
I was like in my car, like sweating, like freaking out, like trying not to sound like a total like nutcase on the phone, just like, oh, yeah, I know this.
That's awesome.
But then she was like, okay, since you passed the preliminary, we need to have you do all this stuff for us to then choose you. And so I had to do loads of paperwork. It took me like a week to do all the work that they needed to have in for them to be able to have, just everything that they needed to make a decision. And so once they had it all, it was just waiting. I was just waiting for the call. And I wasn't able to tell anybody anything. I was like trying so hard to keep my mouth shut. And I do not hold secrets very well. I don't keep secrets very well. I don't lie very well at all. Like it's written all over my face. Yeah. So it was Father's Day. I had my father over and my brothers, and I was like, guys, I got to tell you something. And so I was like, this is, we're in the running for this. I was like, I'm going to get a call about it like any day now, finding out whether or not we're going to get to be on it. And then my phone rang. Right then.
No way.
And I was like, you guys, it's the Food Network. So I ran to the other end of the house so I could like have some privacy. And then they were like, you got chosen. They're like, Guy Fieri chose you himself, like, because he thinks that like what you're doing is amazing. So we're coming and we're going to be there in like 4 days. And I was like, so I like just ran out to my dad and my brothers and my boyfriend. I was like jumping up and down, screaming like a fangirl that just like met in sync or something. And I was like, they picked us.
Oh my gosh.
He picked us.
I can like feel the energy and the excitement from that.
It was just like, I'm getting goosebumps just telling that story. Like, and I've told it 100 times now, but like when like that's a dream come true, like everybody has their thing.
Yeah.
That was my thing.
And you didn't think it was going to happen for like years and years. So it's like, if ever. Yeah.
He had never even been to South Dakota before.
Yeah.
He came here. So,
wow.
So yeah, that was how that all happened. They came in, they took over the restaurant. It was wild. It was fun.
Amazing. And when is it airing?
February 12th at 8 p.m.
Yeah. February 12th, 8 p.m. Central Time, I'm guessing, our time? Okay.
Yep.
I don't have a TV, but I'm not somehow like,
well, I think if you have like Roku or Amazon Fire Stick, like some of those have streaming services that you can do that you don't have to pay
online
extra for. Yeah.
So I want to watch that for sure.
Yeah.
That's
we'll
awesome.
record it.
I wish I was here when they were recording. Yeah. Did they have filmed people like?
So it was like you have to shut down the restaurant. It's so interesting to see how they do these things and the kind of like tricks that they play.
Yeah.
Because when you watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, you can tell in like the early seasons that they were just like showing up and filming and like there was packed restaurants because of it. But they learn now that it's chaos and it's people trying to get autographs and people like being super loud and you can't control the crowd. So they started doing it where you get a set number of people that you get to have in the restaurant. You close the restaurant down and then the kitchen is shut down so you can cook in the kitchen like and have it be pieced together. I'm assuming that they didn't do that in the early stages because if you watch like the early episodes versus like what we went through is like that's totally
completely different.
It's different. Yeah. So it was shut down. So we had to I had to choose, and they wanted people from like different demographics, like trying to get an equal mix of like men and women. So or like so that otherwise if I would have just invited like everybody that I do yoga with, it would have been like okay, that's a place for yogis.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That makes sense.
It was just really interesting to watch the filming process from behind the scenes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Kind of going back to the entrepreneurship and stuff. I had a question come to mind. Did you have any fears like jumping into this at all? Was it like, did you have a fear and how did you handle that?
Oh yeah. Is this gonna work past 2 weeks?
Right.
or all the walls gonna come toppling down once you hit go and you open the doors and you realize like what your idea isn't good or it just isn't gonna take. That was the scariest part is like you can have an idea and be like, I've talked to all these people and everybody wants this. And like people, like I used to get kind of chewed out by my partner. Sometimes I would be like, everybody. He's like, no, not everybody. And I'm like, no, but everybody. Yeah. Everybody wants this. Yeah. So that was that like, he brought reality into it for me, which is good though, because, what if you do open and not everybody wants it and not enough people want it to keep you afloat and you fail. Yep. So always worried about failure, and especially this last year with COVID and figuring out that and navigating those waters, and that's continued to be a fear.
How did you handle COVID? What did you do to kind of help with the business and staying open and all that?
I was here all the time.
A lot, yeah.
There was very few days where I wasn't here. I was a dishwasher for a few months. Like we cut off, all of the high schoolers that weren't dependent on a job, and not fired, just like, hey, hang out in the wings and hopefully we'll be able to take you back on soon. Yeah. We cut hours. We cut opening hours and stuff, so we weren't open as long. We had to totally learn how to reorder and manage produce and manage the food that we have. So just when we got the swing of how much we prep, how much we backstack, then we had to change all of that again. Yeah. So there's 1,000 different things that we had to change and learn how to do differently.
Yeah. If you were to think about your whole experience with this, looking back, is there anything that you would have done differently? And what advice would you want yourself to have?
Just from the start of daily in general? Mm-hmm. Gosh. So many things. Like I kind of said, it was kind of, I don't want to say train wreck in the first year, but what everybody saw from in front of the counter didn't look quite that, but it was in the background. The hours would have been steady from day one. We flip-flopped the hours that we were going to be open and days we were going to be open and stuff a lot in the beginning. Yeah. Which I think threw some unrest out there to you want to depend on a business to have, certain hours, certain things, I think that's really big in business is, depending on something that's just not constantly changing. We were doing prep in small batches. So our sauces and stuff were just tiny little batches, and that's because that's what I came in with. Was here, I'll quadruple this little tiny batch and that'll be enough. No, our recipes now are all I don't even know, times 100 of what those little baby recipes I brought in here with, and that would have saved us so much time and so much struggle and so many headaches, and there's just so much I could expand on within that, but there's a lot of things that I would have done different.
What would if there was an aspiring entrepreneur who wanted to do something similar, health and food, or healthier food, open up a business, a restaurant, what would be a couple, pieces of advice for them?
Yeah. So there's two things One I think is really important is having a mentor or having somebody that has experience. It is so hard to come into it blind, not knowing what you're doing. And I was lucky that my partner had opened more grocery store. I mean, he opened Pomegranate, and he had a little market before that here in town, and then he had like a little food truck that he had run out of there. So he knew a little bit about it, but not really about the food service. But luckily, our other partner that had come into this with us had come from food service industry, so he knew that we needed kitchen ticket printers and things like that I didn't think we needed. Like just stuff like that now seems so like obvious. But if I hadn't had that, and at least even if he wasn't a partner, if I'd at least had, you know, him as a confidant and like a friend to mentor me through that, here's what you need if you're gonna do this. That was just like game changing for opening. And another thing that I've heard of from other people too, when we started out with several people that were going to be kind of co-partnering, and it ended up with 3, and now we're down to 2. And anything I've ever heard from anybody who went from having like big partnerships, 2 is ideal unless the rest of them are silent. 1 or 2 unless the other ones are silent.
So is it you and someone else that owns this?
Yep.
Is it Jeb?
No.
Oh.
Jeb left. Jeb was the third one. That was it.
Who's the second one then?
Steve. He's one of the co-owners of Pomegranate Market.
Oh, okay, gotcha. But he's like never here, right?
No, they have property out in Wyoming.
Gotcha.
That's kind of been their goal, is to be able to be out there more often and skiing and watching the moose come up to the window and everything. And like, you know, at this point, like they've paid their dues like in the industry, and they're getting
now they're wanting
to.
That makes sense.
So I'm working my way.
Yep, you'll get
working
there.
my way to
You'll get there.
Yep.
What would be like top qualities of a successful entrepreneur, would you say?
Willingness to sacrifice. And I know that like everybody just hounds me like, you know, self-care, and I'm like, yeah, but like sacrifice is huge. Like if you go into it being like, I'm just gonna like start this and everybody else is gonna run it, and like I'm just gonna walk away, that like, I mean, you're throwing a match at a tank of gasoline, and if you walk away from it, like I just don't think that doesn't work like that. Especially when you're starting something small, you know, like this, and you wanna grow it. Like being there and being a part of it and making it succeed, and being willing to sacrifice your personal time and even like family life, social life, like that's all something I've had to sacrifice over these last 2 years to be here. So and make it what it is.
Yep. What would be your definition of success?
Being proud of yourself, and at the end of the day saying like, I'm happy about what I've done, the culture I've created, the people that I've helped, the imprint that I've left on the earth. And while if something happens and Daily fails somewhere along the lines, if I can, you know, it'll be sad, it'll be heartbreaking, it'll be super depressing. But at the same time, like if you look at it positively, like I feel like I've done great things with, you know, creating the culture here. I've provided something for people. I've created a safe place for people, a place for people to gather and be happy and eat and drink and be merry, and that's all positive stuff. So in that, like I feel successful.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Is there food items that you are kind of like, what is your process for getting new items on the menu? Because I feel like every now and then there's a new smoothie or a new something, and you have all these ideas. So is it like slowly you put these out, or how often?
We want to do seasonal things because we want to, like, I think that's a big draw for people, is not just to have the same things over and over and over again. Obviously we have like the staples that don't go anywhere, you know, our Bliss Booster, our Daily Detox, our Butternut Buddha Bowl, like those aren't going anywhere. But it is cool to have, you know, seasonal salads and different baked goods and different smoothies that we run, and that makes it exciting for us too. So there's not really, that's one thing we're getting a little bit better at. Year one, we wanted to do all the seasonal things, but we were just like trying to keep our heads above water with the prep and everything we're doing.
Yeah.
Now year 2, now we're like, oh yeah, now we're getting to Valentine's Day. Let's get that beetroot powder in so we can get the beat of my heart smoothie going again. And like now we have those things stored and we can pull them out of our back pocket versus going, okay, we need to hurry up and create something. Crap, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes.
Right.
It's like, I'll do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes. Like, tomorrow never comes.
Yep.
Yeah, when you're busy and when things are crazy. So yeah, that's a process. But
It's really just the seasonal stuff that comes out. Yeah. That's good.
any other new things, like if we have an idea, we test it. Like what's the practicality of it? How does it hold? How quickly can we make it? What's the wait time? What's the draw? How does it fit in with our menu? Is it cohesive that we don't need to buy a whole bunch more stuff to make it? Because that's another thing, is like trying to get new product in or something.
Yeah.
That's a pain.
Oh yeah.
We're running out of storage space the way it is.
Oh,
So
yeah?
it's kind of like, all right, this is what we have. What can we make with what we have and not try to tap into something else, which is awesome because it eliminates waste.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that
we
makes sense.
really don't throw out like hardly anything.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
awesome.
Our
That's amazing.
waste is very minimal.
It's good to hear. So my podcast is called Flow with the Grow. So my last question that I guess I can think of, what does it mean to you to flow with the grow? So like when you hear flow with the grow, what comes to mind?
Like along these lines of like, food and seasonal things, and what's, what we're doing here is like everybody's constantly growing and evolving, and our, our culture, our country, the way we do things, and not being stagnant and being open to change and being open to to discussing that,
Yeah.
to changing things if they need to, if suddenly avocados go out of style and everybody wants kale, silly example.
Yeah.
Like obviously this is the world I live in, but
Yeah.
just,
I love how you
Flowing
said
with
just
it.
flowing within, being willing to be open and to change.
yeah.
It's inevitable, like we're all gonna change,
Yeah.
So very cool. So where can, like if someone's in Sioux Falls listening to this, so where are you located? Do you deliver? You don't deliver.
We don't deliver.
Okay.
No.
So where are you
Maybe
located? I know actually so the Instagram announcement that you put up, it's a D, and I
You're
was
like,
like delivery maybe. That's like what my first thought of.
Well, when COVID hit and everybody was not really going anywhere, we offered delivery. We put it out there, and nobody
Yeah,
was
I
really
know.
taking us up on that.
Oh really? Okay.
We hardly had any deliveries.
Okay.
And so we're just like, well, want that.
At least you know it's not. It
that
doesn't work.
failed.
So
But at the same time, like if you look at some of the other things, like going back to new items on the menu again, you throw something up there, it takes a while for people to catch on, and then all of a sudden,
That's true.
something that you thought wasn't selling is all of a sudden a bestseller. So you've got to be willing to sit in the discomfort for a little while to see if things work in this realm, which is something that I've learned over the last couple of years.
yeah.
And unfortunately, right now with food dudes and all of those places, I don't know if you've heard some of the stuff that the amount of money that they take out of your sales is just astronomical.
For delivery?
Oh. It's something like 30% of
Wow.
the sale.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And then they go, well, you're going to get more people this way. It's like, yeah, but then I'm still also giving you all of our profit off of this item. So it's really hard to stomach an outsourced delivery service when we're working with the product and the kind of things that we are here daily. But that would be super cool if this, Triple D stuff does have the trajectory to bring us into that realm on our own. I would love to do that.
That would be awesome. I thought of a question. How do you continue your growth and knowledge in leadership and entrepreneurship? Obviously, you're learning things by working here, but do you ever listen to anything, read anything?
I listen to a lot of How I Built This, which I love.
Podcast, or what is that?
Podcast, yeah, with Guy Ross. It's at NPR. And it's a lot of people that, started businesses. There's episodes on Whole Foods and Crisp and Green and Dave's Killer Bread and a whole bunch of different products that I align with. And it goes here's all the hardships I had to go through, here's all the things I had to learn to get to where I am, and here's how much it sucked for the first whatever time. So I really, really like that one, but I kind of like almost hit like the wall at the end, you know, like where now they're kind of repeating some more stuff, and they're, you know, talking about how I built resilience now, how people are getting through COVID. But I'm just like, okay, I need to start listening to some more books because I don't sit very well. I don't sit still. So reading is not my strong suit.
Yeah.
Podcasts and books on tape, or audiobooks anyways, like that's where I thrive.
Yeah.
So I just got suggested one that I just started listening to called Extreme Ownership. Yes.
Great book.
Yeah.
I listened to it.
Yeah. It's those guys are very intense.
Yes.
So it's like not like you're listening to an audiobook. It's like you're listening to like, you know, Lord of War. Or
Jocko, right?
Like
That's
that.
the one. Yes. Yes.
So I just started that one, and I think I'm like one chapter in right now. But
Nice.
But yeah, those are things that are huge on my to do right now. Is like, okay, now like, even though the waters might be rising here again pretty soon, I don't know, but I think like things have settled a little bit. Like, you know, get those in my library and start listening to those to help me grow. And then I'm also looking at like doing some like actual cooking schooling, like
Nice.
some kind of online, because we don't have anything offered here in town, but doing some kind of culinary training, because like it's kind of weird to be called a chef when it's like, no, I just like put stuff together, look at a recipe and change it. And like that's still being a chef, but like I want to feel like I've got a little bit more culinary training.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like I want to earn my title a little bit more, but that's me.
Yeah.
I'm always like training and learning and growing.
You learn a lot, and then also there's the credibility of it, I think, too.
Yeah.
So Extreme Ownership, I listened to that, and I think there's another one before or after that, and it's Tribal Leadership. So I don't know if you heard of that, but it could be a one after the Extreme Ownership one.
Yeah.
So that's good. Cool. Okay. Well, what if... No more questions, brain. Stop it.
We could just go on. For
I know, seriously. Oh my gosh, I love this. So, okay, where are you located? What's your Instagram? What is your website? You have a website, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So I
Website, www.dailycleanfood.com. Instagram, I think it's just Daily Clean Food and Drink.
yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I'm weird about that kind of stuff because I don't reiterate it. It's just always there.
Yeah.
It's just always on my phone. Yeah, Daily Clean Food and Drink on Instagram. Same on Facebook. And we are 6215 Southwestern. So I always like to use landmarks that people know that have been around for a while, which is like McNally's is right across the street, or the Old Looks used to be there.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Cool.
yeah, right there.
Yeah, you need to check it out. If you have not checked it out yet, you guys need to. I tell people all the time, like, this is my favorite place. I've had people, like, come, like, to Sioux Falls just to come here and try it now, and, like, like, I tried the acai bowl, what's your favorite? And, so, and it's hard.
As the smoothie blender goes in the background.
Oh, yeah, I think you probably hear that. Oops. That's right. But, oh my gosh, I love it. I come here all the time, just when I'm in town. I like to come work on my podcasts, like, just work on the work stuff. I love all the food. I haven't tried all of it, but yeah, it's so good. So,
it's hard when you find the staples to branch out.
Yeah. So, okay, any last words for you that you can think of?
No, not unless you want to be here another hour.
I know, seriously. Yeah, we should probably skip that off.
No, but thank you for having me.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I
thanks
love
for
talking
coming
about this
on.
stuff. I feel like this helps me grow. So
Totally, yeah. Maybe someday we'll have to do it again.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode today. I know for me, it was really fun to talk to her more about the business standpoint, from an entrepreneurship standpoint, and very inspiring. So if you're someone who maybe, even if you're an aspiring entrepreneur in any realm of life, whether it is with food or anything else, I think maybe you could have hopefully taken away a few things from what she said. If you haven't yet already, I would absolutely love and appreciate if you would leave a rating and review of the show. It would mean the world to me. I love reading those, and also it helps with new people coming on to take a look at the show and to help the show grow so that I can reach more people. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening, and with that, have a great rest of your day, night, week, weekend. Bye for now. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Flow with the Grow. I'll see you next week for your daily dose of positivity and growth.